All right, guys, welcome back to the Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Will Reichling, back for another episode. Today, we will hit on the NFL mock draft that I've been cooking up for a couple weeks now. So 2025 NFL mock draft, Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. Like, subscribe, share. Let's hit it right now. We're going to go through the top 15. So we'll start at number one. Number one, the Tennessee Titans. I have the Titans taking Cam Ward, obviously. I think Cam Ward, everyone knows that Cam Ward's the obvious pick at number one. For the Titans, they need a quarterback. Will Levis clearly wasn't the answer. I mean, if anything, Will Levis cost Brian Callahan and the Titans like 2 or 3 games last year with some of the stupid interceptions and turnovers he had, with very little upside. Cam Ward has the upside. If there's a quarterback in this draft that has the upside and the ability to become a franchise quarterback and a big-time playmaker in the NFL, it's Cam Ward. It's Cam Ward. Between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward is the better prospect. He has a bigger arm. He's more athletic than Shedeur Sanders. And paired with an offensive head coach and Brian Callahan, Cam Ward could be very effective here. You need to kind of rebuild the offense. You don't really have many receiver weapons. You don't really have a running back. Your defense is decent. But bringing in Cam Ward, it's kind of like last year with the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. You don't really have a great roster, but you bring in a quarterback that can move and then is very athletic. Kind of reset your franchise, reset your fan base, give you some excitement. So we'll see I'm not saying it's going to turn out that they're going to be in the AFC Championship game like the Commanders were, but I do think out of all the quarterbacks in this draft, obviously Cam Ward is the pick. Cam Ward is the guy that has the ability to become like I said, Jaden Daniels, a lesser version of Jaden Daniels. Like a taller Kyler Murray, even though Kyler Murray's been up and down. He's shown MVP signs at sometimes. I'm trying to think of like a NFL comp here, like a poor man's Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels. That's what I kind of think of when I think of Cam Ward. He's not really Lamar and Jaden Daniels where he's a designed run quarterback. He's more of moving out of the pocket, making plays out of the pocket, making throws out of the pocket, kind of like Mahomes, Allen, but he could take off and run. And that's kind of why he's better than Shedeur. He has the arm, the big arm, and he's more athletic. So he's the pick. Number one, Cam Ward to the Titans. Number two, the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns at 2. Some breaking news within the last couple days, I think the last week or so. They signed Joe Flacco. So a couple of years ago, Kevin Stefanski, won Coach of the Year with Joe Flacco coming off the couch, as he joked. And I think he threw 13 touchdowns in like 5 games, but had a lot of picks, but had a lot of touchdowns too. I don't know if it was exactly 13, but he threw a lot of touchdowns in the last 5-6 games of the season. One comeback player of the year with only playing 5 or 6 games. That's how well he played in those 5 or 6 games. So that made Browns fans and analysts think, okay, they're not going to draft the quarterback. They got their guy, Joe Flacco. Because Deshaun Watson out for the season. You heard the owner, Jimmy Haslam, say that they, quote-unquote, took a big swing and miss in Deshaun Watson. So you heard the owner say that it was a failure. You have him most likely out for this season as well. You bring in Joe Flacco. Makes everyone think, oh, they're not going to take a quarterback. But think about it. Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year 2 times. Gave Baker Mayfield his best year in the Browns. I mean, he's had better years now, but his best year in the Browns. Then he won Coach of the Year, made the playoffs with Joe Flacco coming off the couch, and 3 other quarterbacks starting that season. So 4 different quarterbacks starting, 1 Coach of the Year made the playoffs. Think about what he could do with Shedeur Sanders, who's accurate, makes good decisions, can roll out of the pocket and make plays out of the pocket. Shedeur Sanders, I think, is a beautiful fit here, and I think the Cleveland Browns take Shedeur Sanders at number 2. I know some people will think this is crazy. They're like, what are you doing? You have Abdul, Carter, Travis Hunter on the board. They need a quarterback. The only way to get out of quarterback hell, the quarterback abyss, that is Deshaun Watson and the big cap hit that he comes with, is to draft a rookie quarterback and hit on that rookie contract. Draft a rookie quarterback and hit on that rookie contract. Draft Shedeur Sanders, even if he's a top 16 quarterback. That makes you viable. Today, Nick Chubb has a big year again. You have Njoku, you have weapons on offense. I mean, you lost Amari Cooper, I understand that last season, but you saw some people step up, and you re-signed Myles Garrett, you still got Denzel Ward. I mean, you have a team here, and you have an offensive-minded head coach. This is actually a great fit for Shedeur. Not the best fit out of all the teams that could potentially be interested. I think New Orleans might be a better fit, but I think the Browns say, hey, there's a quarterback sitting here. We need a quarterback. Our quarterback's ruining our cap. Let's get a quarterback on a rookie contract and reset. That's what the Texans did with Deshaun Watson to CJ Stroud. They had a terrible year. They weren't really in cap hell anymore because they traded him, but they were doomed. Everyone said that they were a joke. They were a laughing stock for trading Deshaun to the Browns. Draft CJ Stroud, all of that changes. All of that changes. You draft Shedeur Sanders. If you're the Browns and you draft Shedeur and he hits, say he's just a top 13 guy. He has his moments. Even like if he ends up being like a Kyler Murray kind of arc of career success, where it's up and down, shows signs of MVP, shows signs of coming back to the average. That's still way better than what you have with Deshaun Watson, which last year showed some of the worst quarterback stats of all time. The guy was terrible. So I think the Browns take Shedeur Sanders. Enough said. Number 3. The number 3rd pick. Number 3 overall pick. The New York Giants. So the Giants. You have 2 choices here if you're the Giants. You could take the edge rusher, Abdul Carter, add to an already kind of stacked defensive line, Dexter Lawrence. Thibodeau's a little overrated, but Brian Burns, a very effective edge rusher / linebacker. Do you go with Abdul Carter or do you go with Travis Hunter, who I think is the best cornerback in the draft, a top 5 receiver in the draft? He wants to play both ways. He said he plans to play both ways. In the combine, he technically entered as a corner. I think he's a play corner. That's neither here nor there, but the Giants desperately need a corner. They do. They drafted Deonte Banks in the first round a year or two ago. Hasn't really worked out yet. Still developing, but was not good last season. Desperately need a corner. And I personally, I think he should focus on corner. Not many good cornerbacks in the league. If he wants to make money, though, I would play wide receiver because the wide receivers make the big time money. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, even Brandon Ayuk made $28 million a year and only had like 70-something catches. So if you want to make money and you're Travis Hunter, you play receiver. If you want to be an all-timer, you play corner. If you want to be different, and if you want to be Travis Hunter, you play both. So I think he does a kind of hybrid Deion Sanders type role here where he plays corner, has some packages at receiver, maybe like 10 snaps a game, 15 snaps a game, nothing crazy. But that's what I think Travis Hunter does. I think the Giants go with Travis Hunter. Like I said, the Giants need a corner. And think about it. If he wants to play both, if he wants to play receiver, Malik Neighbors as your 1, Travis Hunter as your 2, I think he could be a top wide receiver too, even with focusing at corner. I think he'd be a top wide receiver too in the league. Had 2-3 big plays a game at wide receiver. You have some packages that just involve him as the focus of the play. I think he could be very effective in that role, and I think the Giants go with Travis Hunter at 3. Number 4, the Patriots. Abdul Carter just fell right into your lap. If I'm a Patriots fan, I'm very happy. Mike Vrabel, defensive head coach. Milton Williams, assigned from the Eagles. Not the best defensive tackle in the league, but showed that he is a very good defensive tackle on a stacked D-line. So now he's going to be the focal point of this defense on the defensive line. And now you go and you draft the edge, Abdul Carter. So you got Milton Williams, Abdul Carter, you got Christian Gonzalez at corner. So you're starting to really become a formidable defense. And now you got Drake May in the offense, Ramondre Stevenson. Hopefully you go and draft the guy. But you got Stephon Diggs coming back from the injury, but I think he was effective even before the injury. So the Patriots might be sneaky good this season. The Patriots draft Abdul Carter gladly, and they walk away from this draft saying, we just got Abdul Carter, who's, other than Travis Hunter, the best defensive player in the draft by far. I mean, if I'm hearing, from what I hear, that the 2 sure things in the league are going to be Travis Hunter. People know he's going to be good. How good? I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a good player. And Abdul Carter. He might not be a first-team All-Pro every season, but he's going to be a Pro Bowler. So the Patriots, Abdul Carter is just falling right into your lap. So I don't know if this is how I think the order is going to go in the top 4, but I think these 4 players are going to be picked in the top 4, no matter what the order is. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. Those are the 4 best players on the board. 4 best players on the board. Let's go to 5. Number 5, Jacksonville, the Jaguars. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, you just gave him that huge, ridiculous extension, and then he comes out last year. Hasn't really looked like he did in college. Has kind of not been a bust, but has been underwhelming, has been underperforming. You would think, okay, let's go get him another weapon. Let's go get him maybe the tight end, what's his name, Tyler Warren. Maybe let's get him another lineman. Maybe let's get him Tet McMillan. I think to go with the defensive tackle, Mason Graham. I think they have a good pass rush already with Josh Hines, Allen, and crew. And now you plug up the interior as well. He's an outstanding run defender. And the Jags, they need to shore up the defense a little bit. Yes, they need to put as many pieces around Trevor Lawrence as possible. But if they want to be a good team, they want to be a complete team. Mason Graham at this point is the best player left on the board, and you need a D tackle. You need to shore up the run game. Draft Mason Graham. So I think the Jags do that. They draft Mason Graham. They shore up the defensive line. They end up having one of the best defensive lines in the league now at this point if they draft him. I think it's a good fit. So that's where I think the Jacksonville Jaguars go. Number 6, the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. Ashton Jeanty? No Ashton Jeanty? Listen, Pete Carroll took over. Pete Carroll took over this team. And defensive head coach. But again, what did he have in Seattle? Marshawn Lynch? Does he want his next Marshawn Lynch? No. I think he wants his next Bobby Wagner, his next Michael Bennett, whatever this guy becomes, the linebacker, Jalen Walker. He could be a off-ball linebacker. He could be a edge rusher. He almost reminds me of Micah Parsons coming out of the draft a few years ago, where he started as an off-ball linebacker, became an edge rusher because he was just so damn talented. He could play anywhere. This guy's the best linebacker he's probably the best player on the defense in the draft as far as I could just play anywhere. I could be the edge. I could be the hybrid. I could be the off-ball linebacker. I could probably cover people if I wanted to. So does Pete Carroll want his next Marshawn Lynch? No. He wants his next maybe Bobby Wagner, maybe his next Michael Bennett. He wants defensive guy, wants a guy on the defense to shore up the defense with him, a leader. He's probably going to be his Mike linebacker, even if he is the edge rusher. This guy's going to be the leader of his defense, a Georgia guy, a blue blood SEC. I think Jalon, but I think Jalon Walker's going to be elite in this league. And that's where I think the Raiders go. I don't think they draft Ashton Jeanty. I think they go with Jalon Walker. My New York Jets, number 7, the Jets. So last year, it was a decision for the Jets. Do you go with Olu-Fashanu, maybe one of the other offensive linemen, offensive tackles, or do you go with Brock Bowers? And I thought the Jets were going to go with Brock Bowers. They ended up going with Fashanu, and ended up being the right decision. Dwayne Brown was shot the year before. They get Tyron Smith. He's shot. So they end up needing a tackle. And now they got the tackle of the future. Fashanu showed promise last season. Right decision. Now they have another decision. Do you go with Armand Membou? Do you go with what's his name? The lineman Will Campbell? Or do you go with Tyler Warren, the tight end? Do you go Ted McMillan, the receiver? Do you go offense? I think the Jets go with Tyler Warren, the tight end. Other than Garrett Wilson, they need weapons. Breece Hall, yes, he was elite a year or two ago, but he's kind of slowly starting to fall off. Kind of like what most running backs show after year 3, 4, 5. Slow decline. So other than Garrett Wilson, they don't have many weapons on offense. They really don't. So you go and you get yourself another weapon for Justin Fields. You get him a safety blanket in Tyler Warren, who I'm hearing he's not Brock Bowers, but he's one of the best tight end prospects in the last 4 or 5 years. So this guy's going to be legit. You lost Tyler Conklin in the offseason, who was a formidable mid-pack, above average tight end. And now, last year, you chose lineman over tight end. This year, I think you choose tight end over lineman. Tyler Warren, New York Jets. Number 8, the Carolina Panthers. I think this is a little interesting because as a Panther fan, Bryce Young, first half of the season, you're like, okay, this is a shot. This guy's going to be in the UFL next season. He's going to be gone. He's going to be out of the league. The second half of the season, Bryce Young showed you promise. So, last episode, I talked about Shedeur Sanders. Where could he possibly go? I listed the Panthers and maybe a possibility, but I said they're going to roll it back with Bryce Young. I think everyone knows that. The Panthers are going to roll it back with Bryce Young, give him one more season. He really looked good at the end of last season. There's some promise there. Do you give him some offensive weapons? You give him a lineman. You drafted Xavier Legette last season. Do you give him some lineman help? Do you stack the offense? Remember, they had one of the worst, if not the worst, defense in the league last season. One of the worst defenses in the league. They need a pass rusher. I think they go out. Remember, they traded Brian Burns to the Giants. Their defense is shot. You think their offense is shot? Their defense is really shot. They go out, get the edge, Georgia, Mykel Williams. And like I said, their defense horrendous last season. I can understand why they would want to go offense with this pick, but if you can't stop anyone, you're not going to win. Doesn't matter how many points you score. You could score 50 points. If you let up 60, you ain't going to do shit. And for the Panthers, that seemed to happen a lot too. Like, even week 1, yeah, Bryce Young threw a lot of picks. But then, the Saints scored like 40 points? So, like, they couldn't stop a lick. They couldn't stop anything. So, as bad as I know fans and analysts want to give Bryce Young more help, more weapons, you got to shore up that defense. And Mykel Williams is a formidable, like a strength pass rusher. He could just plow through the offensive lineman. And I think this is the pick for them. Mykel Williams out of Georgia, the edge. The Saints, number 9. I thought this was the best fit for Shedeur Sanders, but he's off the board. You don't go Jackson Dart here because he's not a top 10 pick. He's just not. I think they draft a tackle, Armand Membou. They go with tackle. You're hearing all these rumors. Derek Carr might have season-ending surgery. I think he just wants to get traded. I just think this is all smoke and mirrors before the draft. They're going to bring back Derek Carr. They need to salvage this in some way. Offensive head coach Kellen Moore. You bring in a tackle of the future to help protect Derek Carr, make sure he doesn't keep getting hurt over and over and over again. Saints go tackle. The Bears, number 10, Chicago Bears. Ashton Jeanty now? Now will someone select Ashton Jeanty? No. Ryan Poles learned last season, I could have Rome Odunze or I could have one of these tackles. He went with Rome Odunze, and Rome Odunze is going to be a good player in this league. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be a solid player. Might even be a number 1 day. But the offensive line was a joke. They probably should have went tackle. So what do they do this offseason? They get Joe Thuney, they get Drew Dahlman, they drafted Darnell Wright in the first round a few years ago. Now they go out, and I think they get the offensive lineman Will Campbell to be their left tackle of the future. So they shore up all the pieces on their offensive line. They got a center, got 2 guards, got a right tackle. Now they get their left tackle in Will Campbell. So Ryan Poles last year going with weapons. I think this year he learned his lesson, went all out on the line, and he goes to shore it up with this guy, Will Campbell, who people think is going to be special out of LSU. So Will Campbell to the Bears. Number 11, the San Francisco 49ers. I think so far there's been no trades. I haven't predicted any trade-ups. I don't think this draft is that special. There's a couple of really good players, then it kind of falls off a cliff. So there's no one like really worth trading up for here. So I really don't think there's going to be trade-ups in the top 10. So number 11, 49ers, they're going to go with Jahdae Barron, the corner out of Texas. Look, they lost, what's his name? They lost Charvarius Ward in the offseason. Diamondor Lenore has become a very good player, but they need to shore up that defense. Rabashala coming back. He's got his own scheme defense, and he's going to need a corner like a Sauce Gardner, a DJ Reed for that zone scheme. And Diamondor Lenore has been a great player, but they need another corner. And Jahdae Barron, I think, would fit there perfectly. Number 12, the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. I think they go out, get their next star, get their next Zeke, get their next Emmitt Smith, their next Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin. They get their next star, Ashton Jeanty, to the Dallas Cowboys. He falls right into their laps. They don't have to trade up at all. This makes sense in both ways. Jerry Jones needs a star player on a rookie contract. Ashton Jeanty, perfect fit for the Dallas Cowboys. Big brand, big-time player. I think this is a beautiful fit. Maybe a little high of a draft pick, but from what he showed in college, he showed he could be special. And I really think that he could kind of change the narrative on Dallas. If Dallas gets a formidable run game with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, that combination, they could really be a contender in the NFC. You have pieces on defense. We already know about Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs. They have a good foundation of star players. So you bring in one more piece to the offense, they could be back to what that offense was 2-3 years ago, where they won the best offense in the league. So Ashton Jeanty, I think he goes to the Cowboys, and I think this is a home run hit for them. I think the Dolphins, not to get too much into it, I think they go with a tackle, Kelvin Jr. out of Texas. Tua struggles when he's pressured. When he's pressured, he could be inaccurate. He could get a little flustered because he's not a great mover. And when he moves, he gets scared, concussion. Not that he gets scared, but the subconscious in the back of his head. So I think they go to tackle here. Kelvin Banks is a safe pick for them. It's the right pick for them. Colts. Indianapolis Colts. We know they need weapons. They want to figure out, is Anthony Richardson the guy? Is Daniel Jones some guy that could be their starter of the future? Which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think they really think that either. But you go out, you get wide receiver Matthew Golden. Not Ted McMillan, Matthew Golden. Again, not Ted McMillan, Matthew Golden. Why? Ted McMillan, you already have one of those. You have Michael Pittman, jump ball guy, 50-50 ball guy, uses his strength, uses his size, uses his great hands. You have that already. So what do you have to go do? Go get a guy that runs a sub 4.3 40-yard dash in Matthew Golden. Go get that kind of guy. Go get a speed guy to put on the other side of Michael Pittman. So I think this is a beautiful fit. They need a weapon. They need speed. They need explosion. And Matthew Golden out of Texas gives them that. Last but not least, the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons have needed a pass rusher since John Abraham. I think they realize, like, they're honestly a decent roster, especially offensively. Offensively, they're a decent roster. Defensively, they have a secondary, A.J. Terrell, Jesse Bates. So they have players. I think it really comes down to they desperately need a pass rusher. So I think they go Mike Green and Marshall. He's a dominant pass rusher. I think he led the FBS in sacks last season. Dominant pass rusher. They need a pass rusher. This is a guy that I think could fit there beautifully. Raheem Morris, defensive head coach. It'll work out very well. So Mike Green to the Falcons. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. 15 teams. Top 15, I'll go back over it right now. Titans, number 1, get Cam Ward. Number 2, the Browns get Shedeur Sanders. Number 3, the Giants get the hybrid, Travis Hunter. Number 4, the Patriots, Abdul Carter falls right into their laps. Number 5, the Jaguars get Mason Graham, the defensive tackle. Number 6, the Raiders get Jalon Walker. Number 7, the Jets get Tyler Warren, the tight end, the weapon. Number 8, the Panthers get the edge out of Georgia, Mykel Williams. Number 9, the Saints get a tackle, Armand Membou. Number 10, the Bears get the offensive lineman who could be a tackle, probably going to be their left tackle, Will Campbell. Number 11, the 49ers get the corner, Jahdae Barron. Number 12, the Cowboys get the star running back, Ashton Jeanty. Number 13, Dolphins go safe with a tackle, Kelvin Jr. Number 14, the Colts get the speedy wide receiver, Matthew Golden. And number 15, the Falcons get a much-needed pass rusher, Mike Green out of Marshall. So Ted McMillan did not go in the top 15. A little controversial. I think he's going to be a good receiver in this league. But I think he's going to be more like a Marvin Harrison, good route runner, technician. He'll find a team here. He'll find a team, but this draft's a little weird. Not many teams need... A lot of teams need a tackle, an edge rusher, things like that. So, last year's draft was way more exciting. They had 6 quarterbacks going, the top 12 was it? Top 13? It was kind of a crazy draft. Not like that this year. You got Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and then after that, I don't think Jackson Dart's going to go in the first round. Might happen. Could be crazy, but I think he's going to go in the second round. So that's it. I think next week I'll rank the quarterbacks. I think from this list you already know what the ranking is. Maybe they'll come up with another episode. Maybe Rodgers will finally sign with the goddamn Steelers. I don't know. But thanks, guys. Another good episode. Keep supporting me. Take care. Thanks.